Today, in episode 5, we have a very special guest for you, and who is not other than Dr. Elliott, who has been practicing psychotherapy for the last 35 years in the United States of America. Dr. Ellen,
Yes.
hi.
Hello.
Oh, welcome to Mindset with Nabin.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, how are you feeling?
I am feeling really great. A little tired, but really great.
Okay. Even after, a heavy or hectic schedule, in between that,
Yes.
you made a really time for us. That's
Yes.
great. And I'm
Yes.
really, feeling a good privilege for you having here in our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. And I am grateful to be here.
Thank you so much. This means a lot for us. So, Dr. Ellen, once again, welcome to Nepal.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? What's going on? How people are treating, Nepalese people are treating you, or what's, how is going your Nepal trip this time?
People in Nepal always treat me wonderfully. I love Nepal. I call this the home of my soul because I fell in love with Nepal more than 10 years ago and continue to come back. And I will continue to come back because I love the people of Nepal and the colors and the smells. And I love this country.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So before going to, talking about a little bit about our content, so I just want to request you, can we have your introduction, please? Just, either way, you can introduce yourself.
Okay. I am Dr. Ellen Elliott from the United States, and I'm a psychotherapist there and specialize in addictions and trauma. So I work with a lot of American clients and love coming here. It's a bit of a code switch, but I love being able to bring information here and combine it with what I've learned in Nepal. I also did research here for a while in order to get my doctorate later in life. And so I did research for a few years here. And so it makes me even more affectionate toward Nepal.
Yeah, connected feeling.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I know you, and it's been, I think, more than 8 years, probably.
Yes.
Yes. 7 years, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably about
Probably,
right.
yeah, more than that. You have been here in Nepal back and forth. It's no doubt,
Yes.
right? But this time, you are having training
Yes.
here in the Kathmandu
Yes.
with PICS Nepal,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Which I had done one time before
Yes.
a few years ago,
Yeah.
but a short training.
Yeah, a short
So,
training.
Yes. So this is different.
This is different. So just before arriving here, and it's been it's been a 2 weeks actually.
Yes.
Exactly 2 weeks, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. So far.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we had a training in the first week, and then second week we went to the Pokhara,
Yes.
and we already finished 2 training on trauma. So what was your expectation just before arriving Nepal or before meeting them, the trainee
Yes.
who attended the trauma training, and what you found now? Like, what you have been expecting or supposed to happen, supposed to be trauma training in this way or that way, and how are you finding this?
So I think the difference this time, particularly working with counselors and counseling students,
Yes.
Has been that people know more about trauma. When I was doing research here on trauma,
Yeah.
anytime I mentioned the word, people would say, drama?
Drama.
And so the word trauma wasn't really well known, even in the counseling field,
Yeah.
because the counseling field was really brand new at the time.
Yeah.
So I started my this latest education in 2016, and TU started a counseling program in 2017,
Yes.
which was the first master's counseling.
Counseling psychology.
Yes, counseling psychology program.
Yeah.
And so it was so new. And working with students this time, there is some conception of trauma. And people know what the word is, they know what it means, but it's still really wonderful to be able to introduce new concepts to counselors who haven't really heard those concepts before, don't know about them in the same way that if I'm training in the United States.
So when you share that word among people, instead of understanding trauma,
Yes.
you would say like they would have different understanding, the drama,
Yes.
the word.
Yes, and it's more and more every time that I am coming here,
Yeah.
then I realize more and more people are starting to understand enough about trauma for the trainings to be relevant.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So, and the one more thing you added is
Yes.
counseling program also has helped
It has.
to understand the trauma
It has.
really,
Yes.
right? So, and you are specialized in trauma and addiction, right?
Yes.
So people can recognize you as a trauma specialist, trauma and addiction expert.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
I've been working in the field for a long time.
Long time,
Yes.
right? So, what particularly things you have found difference in the United States and in Nepal regarding the counseling or let's say understanding of trauma? But you have already mentioned about the word trauma, how people understand
Yes.
trauma,
Yes.
and now what are the changes in this? But in terms of overall,
So the thing that I have noticed here the most, and this is one of the reasons that I got interested in researching trauma here in Nepal.
yeah,
So I came here for the first time in 2014 and worked with volunteered with an organization that dealt with victims of torture.
oh yes,
Because again, the word trauma wasn't really here.
yeah,
So I went to the village of Dung and
Dung.
went to 6 households and spoke with people there. And the thing that I noticed that was different from the US was that everything was described somatically. Everything was physical and in the body, which is very different than the United States. So we have a lot of modalities in the US that try to bring people back to their bodies.
yeah,
And in Nepal, that's a little easier because there is already a sense of the body that is different from the way that we view things in the US or in Western culture.
Western culture.
Yeah.
And when you really talk to people in that time about the trauma, so you found that people who had a trauma, so they used to describe their traumatic, let's say, the symptoms in a body in.
Yes.
So right.
Yes. Yes. There's a researcher and trauma expert in the U.S. and Europe who named Bessel van der Kolk, who wrote a book called The Body Keeps the Score.
Yeah.
And I think I saw that more. I really started to understand that in a different way after meeting with people in Nepal.
Oh. So Bessel van der must have some sense about Nepalese culture as well.
He has done a lot of research globally, and I think it led him to some of those beliefs that are relevant here.
Yeah. And, while you did research in Nepal and you have, when I talk to you and, what I found is you have more knowledge in particular this field, like the traditional healing practice and how historical trauma or let's say a genetic trauma, right?
Yes.
So these things, how people have been carrying this experience
Yes.
through their
For generations. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And what are some, even though we practice or celebrate them as a cultural practice, right?
Yes.
I'm not against any cultures or anything, and
Yes.
I know you are not also in
Absolutely.
that part, but
Yes.
you know how you can define or let's say share about those experiences that really affect people or lead them as a traumatic experience. Do you have seen any particular such practices?
Well, every culture has a story,
Yes.
right? Their own history and culture and story that goes along with that. And so things are described in certain ways, and people have different rituals and customs. And some of those are in some ways related to trauma.
Yeah.
You know, I think that one of the things we talked about in an earlier training was some of the animal sacrifices, for example, which have necessity.
Yes.
But also came up a lot in the research as externalized rage that may have been linked to trauma.
Yes.
Likely linked to trauma.
So, yes, mostly the children who are under, age 16, 8 or 14.
Yes.
Probably
who have been traumatized.
Would be the most, vulnerable person for those incident.
Yes.
Because even when I see the sacrifice of animal in a brutal way, that made me, really heavy.
Yeah, and it's difficult.
It's difficult, right? But there is a cultural practice, belief that they would have, been killed, in a different way or things like that. But last time I saw a video on Facebook about animal sacrifice. It's still heavy for me as an adult to explain such incident, right? But when a child see that just in front of them, imagine.
It's a difficult thing to see.
It's difficult, right?
It is. And out of the research came a couple of examples of externalized rage. Animal sacrifices were one.
Yeah.
And Boxy was the other.
Yes.
And that does seem to be an example of how anger gets projected outward. When anger is held on to and then is projected out, then it goes toward something that seems more vulnerable, whether it is people in the community who may be vulnerable for whatever reason, or animals. And so that was the examples of externalized rage.
Yeah.
And then the internalized rage ends up looking like addiction. And suicide and, overworking, all the addictions, not just substance use, alcohol or drugs, but also sex, gambling, working.
Yeah.
So some of those other addictions as well.
Dr. Ellen, you have been here in Nepal back and forth, and it's been already more than 10 years.
Yes.
So how do you find Nepal 10 years back and now? What are some visible, tangible changes you have seen? How do you define this?
There is quite a bit of progress, certainly in the counseling field. There is a counseling field. So that is different than it was 10 years ago. But as far as Nepal overall, probably the thing that stands out to me the most is that there's electricity all the time, except for, glitches here and there.
Okay.
But the first time I came, there was load shedding. And so,
yes,
my friend and I were running around different places looking for coffee when the electricity was on, and where could we charge our devices. And so that's very different. So now I can, find electricity and internet. The internet is so much better. I had a lot of trouble seeing, I can stay longer now because I had a lot of trouble seeing clients,
online
U.S. clients, through the internet. Whereas it's easier. So far, I have had no problems. Now, this week I'm in a different place, and there may be some problems, but so far I've had no problems. Not even in Pokhara. And I before had some issues in Pokhara. So the infrastructure is very different. Some of the roads are much better. There are international stores and restaurants and hotels that were not here before. And it's losing a little bit of the local vibe that I loved so much, but with that comes new opportunities and development in a way that makes life better for Nepal.
Oh yes, that I can see that as well. So in one way, you have a sort of feelings that you are losing the true sense of Nepal culture, and
there's a little of that. The traditional dress is not as
and
much as it used to be.
Few restaurant, few the buildings, things,
everything except Starbucks is here.
Starbucks, So,
but Himalayan Java is here.
Himalayan Java is good always. So, but one thing that really noticeable change is the load setting. That I really appreciate the people who really did a good job in terms of having light 24/7.
Yes, making sure load shedding stopped.
That was
that was
stopped
big.
forever for us. I think
that was difficult.
That was terrible for us. Bearing load setting for 18 hours within 24 hours.
And it was cold, and there was no way to get heat. And then there were gas embargoes. And so there were a lot more difficulties 10, 11 years ago than there are now.
Now it's better.
Yes.
And you mentioned that some of roads and so many things like restaurants and all, it's really progressive, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about the US. When you were a child, how was it, if you remember anything, and how it is now? So many things have changed. US is progressive country, and
and there has been a lot of progress, and there are a lot of American views about that. There are lots of opportunities in the U.S. that some that were there when I was a smaller child, and some that were not. I think one of the things that has changed in the U.S. is the idea of the small business owner is not as attractive as it used to be because of the corporations taking over. And so there are just huge corporations in the U.S. that own so much of so many things. And so it somehow gets in the way sometimes of, the little, the things I love here, what in the U.S. we would call mom and pop shops. The locally owned business people who set up their crafts, a store that's their crafts. There's less and less and less of that in the U.S. because they're, mega shopping centers and all of that in the U.S. that sell all the brands and the, big corporate stuff.
Stop. 40 years back, let's say, 40 years back, was USA like a little bit of similar to Nepal, like, in terms of the progress, or it was already much developed at that time? How was the roads? How was the buildings or the shops? Any particular similarities? Do you find any particular similarities or in terms of
It's
these
so
things?
different. It's really hard to make an actual comparison. There's always in my lifetime been development in the U.S.
Yeah.
There were at one time dirt roads,
Yeah.
and those are very rare now in the U.S. I mean, they still exist, but very rarely.
Very rare.
And now there are so many highways that, are then another highway on top of a highway,
Yeah.
that sort of goes around and bypasses. And
Bypasses.
so there's, that is probably, if you want to call that progress, then some of those sort of things. I mean, there's so many more people,
Yeah.
of course, in the U.S. And so life has sped up. I would say if one of the things that's happened in the last 40 years or so that is that life is just faster. People work a lot. It's sort of a go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Of course, that's here too. But there does seem to be just places here that people slow down and enjoy the connections with each other.
Yeah.
And the U.S. has become more and more individualistic.
Culture.
Yes. Yeah.
So what I am talking about this is particularly when I see my childhood, it was different in comparison to now.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of changes in Nepal in terms of infrastructure, in terms of family functioning, the bonding, or really, let's say, the cultural practices. We used to play, when I was child, I used to play the marble or some sort of other things, right? But nowadays, children are playing with the laptops or the gadgets or mobile.
Definitely.
Right?
Yes, that definitely is a difference.
Right.
Because there was no internet when I was a
wasn't-
child.
Yeah. Let's talk about your childhood. That's what I want to know.
So, yes, certainly we did not have computers or internet. And so things were a little more simple and organic. We had to be a little more creative.
Yes.
The internet does all that for children now, whereas we had to figure out what to do.
Yes.
So, we would do things like, play dolls and play school. And I always wanted to be the teacher.
Oh, yes. Since that time.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So when I was very young, I had heart surgery.
Heart surgery.
Yes. So I was born with a heart defect and had to have heart surgery young. And so I did not get to do physical play when I was a young child. And so it's one of the reasons why books became so important to me. So I loved reading and playing school and being the teacher.
But what was your inside, the inner child activities or playing with them? Was it enjoyable for you, or
I just wasn't allowed to? So
because you had a heart surgery?
Yes.
Otherwise, there wasn't any problem, or
Yeah.
you had a thought of going with them already?
Not really, just because it just had never been allowed. So that's
You never had thought of going outside to play with them?
well, we went outside to play. I just couldn't run very much, and so when I was a very small child, I would faint because of my heart, and so it was just very protective. Don't do that. And even after my surgery, so my surgery was in 1972. That was a long time ago.
It's long time.
And so even the doctors said, do not play or you could die. Now, if that were today, if I had the same surgery today, I would have been on a treadmill before I left the hospital. They would have had me moving.
Okay.
But the thinking back then was I couldn't get my heart racing too much or I would die.
Okay.
Clearly that wasn't true. But, at the time that was the understanding. And
Yes.
so So all of a sudden at 13, they told me that I could go play,
Okay.
but I didn't know how.
How?
And so I ended up just not wanting to participate in sports or physical activities very much, or PE, physical education, in school. And so, then I felt a little left out. And it was always, the other kids got to play, and, they always had something else for me to do.
Oh, oh yeah.
So that was a little different.
It's completely understandable that when you have heart surgery early in your childhood, then your family must be protective, and because you, as a child, you wouldn't have any sense what to do, what not to do, right?
Yeah.
So they protected you, and now it's long time, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But back in my mind, what is I really want to know about is when you were a child, the culture, like how your parents, really want to treat you, or how was the bonding with your parents when you were a child, and what are the differences you found?
I think that's so based on different households. That is the bonding that needed to happen. So we've talked a lot about attachment in the training, and that did not happen for me in the way that I look at as being a healthy way for parents to bond with children.
Yes.
My parents were young when I was born, and so they didn't really know how to do that. And so I think that did impact me later in life.
So another questions I really want to know is, what is healthy childhood for you? How do you define this?
So ideally, we come out into the world, and there are caregivers who are able to nurture and mirror and identify our needs, and if so, babies have their own language. They have one cry for hunger, and they have another cry for I need my diaper changed.
Oh, really? They have different cries.
Yes. And so when caregivers are paying attention, then they learn the different cries of their infant, and that baby then learns that they can get their needs met. But when parents are distracted, or something else is going on in the home, there's domestic violence, or there's some abuse sort of situations going on, then the caregivers may be too distracted, or just not able to nurture in that way, or to pay enough attention to know what their child needs and to be able to provide that. So in a healthy home, then children learn that that they are safe, and that their needs will be met. Yeah.
So I heard about one thing was your parents were pretty young when they had you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So what would you suggest a right or ideal is to be a parent?
When you're old enough to have a clear sense of who you are first. Just to be able to provide for your children the opportunity to know who they are. And that's really difficult if you're still young enough that you don't even know who you are yet.
Exactly.
And now all of a sudden you have someone else to take care of, and that can be really challenging, because you may not have the internal resources yet to be able to start providing for somebody else.
Yes.
So young parents go through the motions.
Yes.
They change diapers and they feed their children, but they don't really know necessarily how to nurture or be present for their children
kids.
in the same way, because they haven't learned how to nurture and be present for themselves yet.
Exactly. Yes. What I think is nowadays it's very hard to say, like, let's who is who knows herself or himself better, when actually things like when they people have age of 25, 26, 28, they have a sort of pressure in their house. Okay, when you are getting married,
Yes.
things like this in Nepal.
Yes.
And but I'm sure that it's not happening in the USA, because after the age of 18 or 19, their children just go out and have their independent or free life some way,
So it depends on the family.
right?
There are populations of people in the U.S. who still believe that prefer to get married, in their early 20s, early to mid 20s, and start a family.
Yeah.
And I think the difference is there's more freedom, and this may be one of the differences in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
So 40 years ago, I think there was still, I was probably in the first generation of people in the U.S. who had been given freedom to make those choices. Whereas before, in earlier generations, there was an expectation that you got married and you had children, and you just go through those traditional life channels.
Yes.
And now there is more an idea that everyone has the opportunity to make that decision for themselves. Some people still take the traditional route, and then some people, and there are groups of young women now who have said, we don't plan to marry at all, and or we don't plan to have children at all. And the difference, I guess, in the U.S. at this point is that is based on a personal choice, as opposed to an expectation. Now, there's still family pressure, but there's also the freedom to say, that despite the pressure, I'm still going to make this choice.
They have been thinking like, when I have babies now, probably I will be late to join the job. When I join the job now, probably I will be late to have the babies.
That's one of the struggles that women have been dealing with for centuries.
So it's in the US as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh. Or maybe I should say decades.
So what do you want to suggest our viewers who are listening to you?
Well, it's
particularly in this way.
Okay, so it is about being able to keep balance, and that's very difficult. But knowing your boundaries and being able to say, I really want a full family life, and I also want a vocational work life. And I can have both, but I realize that I have to, that means I may not work 14 hours a day, as if I didn't have, like I would if I didn't have a family. And I think this is true for men and women.
Both,
we kind of put that on women and men have their struggles too that are different. The same but different. But just knowing, being able to say, I want all of these things, but I realize I can't give all of me to any one thing. I have to be able to keep myself healthy and be present for my family, be present for my work, be present for my hobbies and recreational activities, and take care of my spiritual life. And, I can do all that as long as I am being really mindful and aware of when I'm getting too tired or giving too much, to be able to say, I need me time, or I need family time, or I need a little more time at work this week, or, to be able to balance that
And-
as opposed
And
to
at the same time, they would supposed to have friends time as well, because we are
absolutely,
in a,
that's
you know,
recreation.
yeah,
You have to have some fun in life. And, family time is important. Recreation and fun is important. Social connection is
It's
really
also
important. Vocational life is very important.
yes,
Even women now, today in Nepal, who have gone to work at a job,
yeah,
right? Before that, they worked just as much.
Moths.
They just worked in the house and in the
Yeah, for their children.
fields and, in growing things and doing laundry and, all of that other stuff that they did. So it's just a different way to balance. All the laundry that used to be done, now there are washing machines in Nepal,
yes.
right? So that takes away some of that and allows time for something else.
Something else.
So there is a way to balance all this with more vocation comes more modern conveniences too.
Yeah.
And
So,
so yeah.
particularly, you have a message for those men and women both who
Yes.
are in, who are in their this way, like struggling with balancing their
Yes.
life
Yes.
for work, for their babies, for their friends, for their
Yeah.
families, right?
Yeah.
So they have to keep balance.
Yes.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be any other way to sort it out,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Just putting everything, putting time for everything is important for
Yes.
them now,
Yes.
right?
And being able to say no.
So, yeah, being
Yes.
able to say no
Yes.
is also
And to know your boundary. If
Yes.
you get tired,
Yeah.
take a rest.
initially how you started this journey as a psychotherapist.
So I really can go back to a guidance counselor at school when I was 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
I was going through some things at home,
Uh-huh.
and she took me under her wing,
Yeah.
and I was able to go to her office sometimes if I was not feeling well,
Yeah.
and just talk with her. And she gave me a career test.
Uh-huh.
So she was the counselor there at the school, and I loved her. I am so grateful for her.
Yeah.
And the career test said that I should be a counselor or teacher. So I decided at 12 years old, I was going to be a counselor.
Oh, by the age of 12,
Yes,
you already
Yes.
decided that,
I did.
because you had a fantastic teachers in your school.
I did, and she was so compassionate and so caring, and she listened to me at a time when it didn't feel like anyone else did.
Oh.
And so I decided I wanted to be like her, but I wanted to work with teenagers.
Yes.
And then at some time, I dropped out of high school. I did not finish high school. And then I took a test to finish high school and went to college eventually.
Yeah.
I got married first,
Yeah.
had a child,
Uh-huh.
and then went to college.
Then you went to the college.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And once I got to college, what I decided, I married someone with alcoholism.
Oh.
So that also helped guide this journey.
Okay.
So no longer did I want to work with teenagers.
Yeah.
I wanted to work with people with addiction.
Oh.
And because I started to recognize my own addictive tendencies when it came to food.
Uh-huh.
So his addiction was alcohol and drugs, and mine was food.
Food.
Yes. And so I really decided that I wanted to work with addictions. And so I went back to school and got a degree ultimately in social work
Uh-huh.
so that I could work with people with addictions. And after working for a time in the addictions field, what I started to understand was that there was underlying trauma that led to addiction. And so I started wanting to know more about trauma. And that's how I got to the trauma field.
So you have a very interesting story, actually. and at the same time,
Mhm.
you might have gone through your this process with a very hard time as well. I probably assume so.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think many counselors just land in the counseling field. You
Yeah.
know, I do believe that most of us get here through our own struggles.
Yes,
And I know I certainly did.
absolutely.
Without, it is how at some point we can start to turn trauma into meaning for our life.
Yeah.
And the trauma that happened in my life as a child ended up guiding me in the direction
Yes.
that I would not be sitting here today without having had those same experiences in my childhood.
Exactly.
And so I'm not grateful those things happened,
Yes.
but I am grateful that I was able to learn enough from those experiences to then want to help other people who are struggling with the same types of experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that as a counselor, I can't help a client go any further than I have gone.
Yes.
So being a counselor not only helps me continue to work on my own struggles, but it makes it absolutely necessary
Absolutely.
that I continue to work on myself
Exactly.
and the things that I struggle with as a human. I will always be a human first and the counselor after.
Yes. And every human being have their own story, own struggle.
Yes. We learn to balance.
We learn to balance.
Right? Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I just lend your words.
I know that as a new counselor, I thought I had to almost pretend like everything was okay in my life.
Yes.
And I think starting to recognize that it is only through my own work that I can share with someone else how to do their work.
Yep. Yes.
And so it has become easier and easier to talk about, the struggles that I've had in my life because that is what has gotten me here.
What is your message for those students who are studying in college life in Nepal?
I think there's a lot to do in Nepal when it comes to trauma.
Yeah.
So my research here was focused on historical or intergenerational trauma.
Mm-hmm.
There has been a lot of hardship in Nepal, which is traumatic, in addition to some of the things that individual people and families and communities have experienced.
Yeah.
So there really is a lot to do, and I think being able to do any counseling through a trauma lens, with a trauma focus, is important in Nepal.
Right.
Because there just has been so much there, and in different groups and different populations and different genders have different unique circumstances here, as they do anywhere. It's really important to be able to understand what that is, to recognize the trauma, and to start to address it and help people, individuals, families, communities, and a nation heal.
Yeah.
Through a trauma lens.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching this podcast. We are very privileged to have you, and also we are very thankful to all of you viewers who are continuously supporting Mindset with Nabin, our team PICS Nepal. So for more information and to watch more videos on about mental health and psychosocial well-being, you can watch them free of cost from your comfort of home. For that, you have to share, subscribe, and follow our channels. We are in different platforms. Thank you so much for your support. And also, we are always hungry of your feedback as well. Please feel free to provide any feedbacks to words more insightful and experiential knowledge to was more exciting experiential knowledge on mental health and psychosocial well-being.